crew out here today at the Minnesota Streetcar Museum. And the first cars that you took pictures of, I believe, was the PCC number 322, which was built in 1946 in St. Louis, Missouri, St. Louis Car Company, and brought right up here to the Twin Cities, brand spanking new, and started operating in January of 1947. And ran here in the Twin Cities until about 1952, when all 130 of those types of cars were sold. The majority of them were sold to Mexico City. About 32 of them were sold to Newark, New Jersey for their subway system. And it wasn't all subway, but they had a fair amount of subway, and the rest of it was outside. And then about a dozen of them, I believe, went to Cleveland Shaker Heights. In the late 1980s, we were able to get this one back from Newark via Cleveland, because Cleveland had bought one from Newark and didn't want it anymore, so they sold it to us. We brought it back here to the Twin Cities and spent 9 years completely restoring the car back to about the condition we expect it was in when it came from the factory. It's a real sweet running car, and it's popular on the line. The other car that you took a picture of earlier was Duluth Railway's number 265. This car is a wooden car, steel underframe, but all wood on the sides and the window posts and the roof and so forth. This car was built right here in the Twin Cities by the Twin City Lines back in 1916. It ran for 1 year in the Twin Cities, and then it was sold to the Duluth Streetcar Company and ran up in Duluth, between Duluth and Superior, Wisconsin, until 1939, when all the streetcars in Duluth and Superior were taken out of service. A couple bought the car, the body of the car, not the trucks or the mechanical stuff inside the car, but bought the body of the car from the Duluth Street Railways and moved it down to their Solon Springs, Wisconsin lake home and set it up as a bunkhouse. And since they were good enough to put it up on concrete blocks so it was off the ground, and also built a roof over the top of it to protect it from the weather, it was in fair shape when they were willing to give it to us back in the early 1970s. We brought it down here to the Twin Cities and spent about 8 years restoring it in the late 70s and early 1980s, and it's been running out here ever since. We turned it back into a streetcar.